Toss here for the captains, and we've got Western Tech, champions of the Toronto District Secondary School Athletic Association, and the St. Ignatius Falcons, who won the Northwest Athletic Association. So it'll be an interesting contrast of some Northwestern football and some downtown Toronto football.
Yeah, Kevin, should be a great game here. I know St. Ignatius coming a long way away, coming down from Thunder Bay. They were here yesterday, scoping everything out. They'll be ready to come out and play today.
Yeah, we got a little bit of rain in the forecast right now. I don't know if you can see it on the broadcast, but it's a little wet out there, so sometimes that can make things a little bit difficult for both teams, especially in the kicking game. And so we'll see if that translates here on the field today.
Yeah, I think both of these teams will lean heavily on their ground game at the beginning, kind of feel things out, see how the weather's going, and maybe open it up a little bit in the second half.
Yeah, we've got just some last-minute instructions here from the officials calling the coin toss. And so sometimes in games like this, it's nice to actually kick the ball off first and feel like you can kind of win the field position battle right away.
You want to get that first hit on defense, get those nerves out of the way.
Yeah, these St. Ignatius guys especially have been waiting a long time. They've come a long way to play in this game. They were here yesterday. They got a long bus ride back, and I'm sure they'd love to take a bus ride with a banner today. All right, it looks like the coin toss is over. Captains are just shaking hands, heading back to the opposite sidelines. And we're about to kick this game off here. And so, yeah, Western Tech won the Toronto Public Championship, went into the Metro Bowl semifinals, fell to the Chaminade Griffins, but they had a great, really, really tough matchup. And so they've played in some big state games already. And so one of the weaknesses sometimes of the teams that come from Thunder Bay is they don't have a long path to qualifying. So they don't play a lot of games that are really high intensity and really with a lot of stakes on them.
I know they'll be fired up today to play this football game.
Western Tech's looking ready over here. They've got their sparkling white jerseys with their sparkling numbers. They're looking great. St. Ignatius has got the black and red going on. They're looking tough, and so we're getting ready, I think, to receive this ball for St. Ignatius.
Yeah, interestingly, both of these teams led by grade 11 quarterbacks, so we'll see how the big moments, how they step up and play in these big moments.
Yeah, and that can be tough, especially if this is your first big football game, big game on a big stage. Lots of nerves. We've got lots of people in the stands here coming to watch. Our whole Ofsaa Bowl Festival is being presented this year by NFL Canada, and so they've been a great partner for us. And they're doing a bunch of giveaways and a bunch of supporting of the teams, and they've also got some really fun events and really fun games outside of the stadium today. So if you are coming down later in the afternoon for the game tonight, for the Southern Bowl, you want to check some of that stuff out.
Yeah, really great to have them on board this year. Braving the elements with those guys out in the rain, and they're a really fantastic partner here at Ofsaa this year.
But it's warm and dry in the booth, and so we are ready for the opening kickoff here. It looks like Western Tech's kicker, Callum Honeyman, is getting ready, getting lined up, and he is going to kick that ball off to the Falcons. All right, he's kicking all the way from the left hash here, and so they've got an 8-3 alignment, and so with eight players on the wide side of the field, and so they've really overloaded the St. Ignatius to that side, and Falcons don't look like they've made too much of an adjustment, so that might be an advantage for Western Tech here to start.
And St. Ignatius have 6 up on the front, protected against that onside kick. Looks like a short one.
All right, that's right to the receiver, and he's got it. He's heading down, he breaks a tackle, and he's down just inside the 35-yard line, and so pretty good field position for St. Ignatius to start. That's a catch by Brandon Carruthers there, just catching that a kick and getting a few yards, but mostly just making sure he maintains possession.
Yeah, really great coverage by the Colts on that play.
Interesting, a left-footed kicker, right, kicking it to the left side. Not something you see all that often. Okay, so we've got Western Tech here in that 40 front defense. They look like they've got some real deep defensive backs and some real strong dudes up front. St. Ignatius coming out pretty balanced here. They've got a fullback out to the left. They got a tailback in behind, and the quarterback is under center. A little bit of motion, bringing that receiver back into a 2-by-2 formation. And here we go, power football. Thunder Bay power football driving that ball right down to the right side. That looks like about a 7-yard carry.
Looks like that was number 33, Zach Marino.
Nice run by Marino, and so we'll see if they can continue to pound that ball inside.
Yeah, really good push by that offensive line. Their interior guys getting on that double team, driving those interior Western Tech defenders back.
He's also led by Jay Sorosky there as, at a fullback position. All right, St. Ignatius under center again. About to take the snap. Oh, it looks like Zorowski playing guard. Got just a little early, went a little offside, and so that's going to back up St. Ignatius. They're going to be about 2nd and 9 here after the offside.
Yeah, you get those big guys in that three-point stance. Sometimes they get a little antsy, ready to get off the ball and make that block.
So we'll see if St. Ignatius can go to the air a little bit here and get this first down after a nice opening run where they were able to really run some power football. So we've got a 2-by-2 set here with a fullback bounce for St. Ignatius. Play action run. Oh, big hit from the DB. So that's Nick Gracia's pass is dropped incomplete. Big stop by Western Tech's defense.
Really got there, separated the receiver from the football. Great timing on that hit by that defensive back. Looks like number 6.
Okay. Callum bonked
him.
All right, and so it looks like St. Ignatius is here to punt, and the Western Tech returners seem to be giving him quite a lot of space and respect, so we'll see if the St. Ignatius punter can really put that ball down the field and put them under some pressure. It's a good snap there. Bonk is coming off the edge. Didn't quite get there, but St. Ignatius punter punts it up nice and high. Western Tech catches it on the bounce. Gets a few yards. He's breaking it to the wide side, and the coverage team gets him. So that's a pretty decent flip of the field from St. Ignatius there, and Western Tech will be looking to get back on offense. That ball caught by David Cruz of Western Tech.
Yeah, really great tackle there by number 36, Kevin Poirier. Stopping that return right in its tracks.
All right, and so the Western Tech Colts are here on offense, and looking at their offensive line set up there, they are looking like a big, strong, powerful team. And so we'll see if Western Tech is able to maybe push around a little bit a group from Thunder Bay that is certainly game, but definitely doesn't have the same size advantage that Western Tech does.
Yeah, I expect to see some ground and pound at the beginning of this football game, really establish that line of scrimmage, make it hard for those defenders to get off the ball and make those stops.
All right, and we've got a nice 3-by-2 set here. We got a late motion into the backfield there from Western Tech. Bad snap, but the running back picks it up. He goes through, but that's quite a tackle.
Number 45 again, Nolan Poirier in there, making a big hit, bringing that ball carrier down right in his tracks. Western Tech was lucky to keep possession of that football after that bad snap.
Yeah, that could have been a disaster. Not a great way to start the game from Western Tech, but they're going to be hopeful that they can turn this around and maybe get some positive yardage here on 2nd down. We're looking at about 2nd and 13 from the Western Tech 42-yard line. And so we are again split out. We've got some late motion from these receivers coming in tight back into the backfield, and so some different motion from Western Tech. And another bad snap, and oh my goodness, another huge loss, and St. Ignatius is just all over these Western Tech players as those snaps are on the ground.
A great play made there by Nash to make that tackle. St. Ignatius looks like they're really bringing that blitz now after 2 bad snaps. They're looking to come after, put some pressure on that Western Tech offense.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're we often would consider a team from Thunder Bay an underdog, and when you're an underdog, you're going to come hard and play tough, and it's a great start from St. Ignatius. Their defense has gained about 25 yards there, so Western Tech's got to be hoping this is a nightmare start for them.
Yeah, it's 3rd and about half the field right now.
To get a first down, Western Tech has to get to the 55-yard line. They got a punt here. It's not really far. They're going to get a no yards call, though. Oh, that's a mess down there. The referees are sorting it out, but that'll be no yards on Western Tech. St. Ignatius ball probably around the 35-yard line. Great field position from them.
Yeah, it really looks like the elements are having a factor here early in the game with the kicking game, as well as those centers getting the snap back. As a former center myself, I can tell you those rain games are really tough.
Yeah, and maybe that's an advantage for St. Ignatius being under center. As we've seen, that snap will have less of a chance of being difficult to handle. And so Flipping the field here, St. Ignatius got a great opportunity to get on the board early and make this and put Western Tech into a bit of a hole. And so here we go. St. Ignatius is coming out in that same sort of formation we saw before. It looks like they've got an I formation with a fullback as well. So that's a pretty heavy set there from St. Ignatius coming through. They are just leading through the hole, but the Western Tech defense stands strong. However, that looks like, is that Moreno there just running that ball super strong and super tough? That is.
Yeah, really great play by Moreno there to keep his legs going. Number 55, Cooper Savecki on that defensive line, stood him up in the hole, but just a great job of keeping those legs churning, eating up yardage, and getting a nice run on first down to set up a 2nd and short.
Yeah, and so nice work from St. Ignatius there. We're at 2nd and 2 here. We're just outside the 25-yard line, and again, we've got that 3-back set from St. Ignatius, and so I would wonder if we're going to see that power football again. Here it is, Nick Moreno along the right-hand side. He's got some room, he's got some space. He's heading down, and he's inside the 20 for a St. Ignatius Falcons first down.
Great run to the outside there. They're really getting their blockers out in front, really getting around the edge, setting that edge for their running back to pick up some great yardage. Fullback there on the block, number 4.
Rodrigo Casio, right, doing a great job of leading the blocks, and St. Ignatius right now is outnumbering Western Tech at the point of attack. Okay, and here we go. We got, again, a 3-back set from St. Ignatius. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And they're going to be looking to run this ball again, I would bet. So St. Ignatius taking the snap, turning around, feeding that looks like Rodrigo Casio there for another 3 or 4 yard gain.
Yeah,
great. St. Ignatius Falcons.
Great play by the big man, Cooper Savicki, getting in on that tackle for Western Tech, really shutting down that line of scrimmage. Western Tech lined up, showed blitz, looked like they had about 8 guys up on the line, ready to blitz, trying to stop that run game at the point of attack.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of time we talk about a gap cancellation defense. When they've got extra fullbacks in the game, you've really got to make sure that when they're putting in extra gaps, you're taking them away. St. Ignatius into more of a spread offense here. Still quarterback under center. Coming in, that's a jet sweep. That's number 5, Carson Height, and he takes it all the way down to the goal line, and it looks like he's down just inside the 5. Nice run from Carson Height. Down all the way to the 1 yard line. Falcons are knocking on the door.
Really great play call right there by the coach, bringing that jet sweep off the edge, up the middle, and a great cutback by Carson Height to find that space, get down to the 1 yard line, set him up 1st and goal.
All right, St. Ignatius not really throwing the ball through the air, but they are moving it on the ground, and so they're here on the 1 yard line. They're in their I formation with a bit of a wing set. They're looking heavy here. I'd expect them to try to run this ball right down Western Tech's throat. Taking the snap, feeding to Nick Moreno. Nick Moreno is into the end zone for a St. Ignatius Falcons touchdown.
What a great surge by that offensive line. The offensive lineman, you get your shoulder pads in the end zone. You get your running back in there too. Moreno followed his guys. Poirier on that lead block, playing both sides of the football, punching that in for 6.
Yeah, fantastic work by the big fellas up front. And, you know, we kind of mentioned that it looked like Western Tech outweighed St. Ignatius. It doesn't matter when you're working that hard and getting that low. It doesn't matter if they're bigger than you, if you're doing a better job of pushing them back. So fantastic work from that Falcons front. It looks like they're getting ready to kick the extra point here.
So I think they're going. Oh, yeah, they are looking to kick that extra point.
Got
Thought they might have been going for 2.
Yeah, Mateo Pershuka here. We saw him practicing some converts before the game, so this should be automatic. Oh, a tough snap, but the holder gets it down, and that's right through. Great kick by Pershuka. And we got a 7-0 lead for St. Ignatius here at about the halfway mark of the first quarter.
Yeah, really great drive by St. Ignatius there, moving the football, keeping it on the ground, really reestablishing that line of scrimmage, getting their offensive linemen to push those defensive line, that front 7 from Western Tech off the ball, really establishing that ground game. We'll see if Western Tech can respond, get their offense going a little bit here, hopefully avoid some of those bad snaps and procedural type things, and get them rolling back on offense.
Yeah, Western Tech, this is not a great start for them, right? A little bit of struggle snapping the ball. Having trouble getting aligned on defense to some of those fullback looks, and let's hope that they can show us a little bit more here as this game goes on. Pershuka's getting ready to kick this ball off. We've got, Looks like 7 players off to his left. So again, an unbalanced formation here from the kicking team.
Looks like it's Gabriel and Samuel back to return for Western Tech.
Oh, and a short kick. Does it go 10? It does not. It's touched early. Referees blow it dead. That's a tough look. It looked like Western Tech wasn't really ready for that onside kick, but St. Ignatius just couldn't execute.
Sometimes when you get two teams that have never played before and unfamiliar, you can pull out some looks that they won't have seen. These teams don't have a lot of film on each other. Sometimes you can pull out those trick plays and they work a little bit better than they would in those league plays when you see these teams more than once.
You know what, and I think actually the referees hadn't blown the play in yet because Western Tech didn't have 12 on the field, and so St. Ignatius got to feel pretty frustrated that they gave away that opportunity.
That's unfortunate. You pull that one out of the bag of tricks to think that you got a free onside kick, and then you got to redo it.
All right, kicks the ball all the way down on the ground. We get it inside the 30. Makes a nice return there. And Gabriel on the return, and a nice move for him. And Western Tech's got good field position on 35.
No surprise, Nolan Poirier around the football again, making a tackle.
He's been showing up quite well so far today, and so we'll see what Western Tech can do here on offense. They had a couple bad snaps on the first series. And you can't keep going like that. All right, and so here comes Western Tech getting in the huddle here on offense. See what sort of front they've put together here. They look pretty condensed. This looks like their double wing look that they run at times, and so they go from being spread to being tight, and maybe this gives them an advantage with that under center snap, but no, St. Ignatius says no way. That's number 97, Avon Anderson.
Yeah, Jonah Latinen in there too. Those big front 7 from St. Ignatius really shutting that down, getting in there, making that play, shedding their blockers, making a great tackle.
Yeah, I mean, again, Western Tech outweighs St. Ignatius, but that's not going to make a difference when those guys are firing off the ball that hard. So St. Ignatius is packed in the box. Western Tech is packed in the box. Doesn't look like Canadian football right now, but there we got a sweep around, and we got another tackle. That's, again, Nolan Poirier coming off the edge, making a tackle there on James Galanis from Western Tech, and it looks like Western is kicking the ball.
Yeah, number 23, Clark Venn in there as well on that tackle. Poirier setting the edge, Venn cleaning it up. Great job by St. Ignatius of getting in there. You talked about the size difference for Western Tech. Those front 7 from St. Ignatius really getting low, using leverage, getting off their blocks to make those tackles, getting in those gaps, giving them nowhere to run.
Real impressive showing from St. Ignatius so far, and so Western Tech's looking to come back and punt. This time they got a good snap. Punt is kind of wobbly there, fielded by St. Ignatius there, and they're inside the 50. It's a great job there by number 36, Kevin Poirier. Got to imagine they're brothers, and their brothers are looking pretty good today.
Yeah, Poirier boys are putting on a show. Drive down 16 hours, and they're taking their time in the spotlight. Show us what they can do.
Great work, and so St. Ignatius probably thinking here, let's keep running this football, and let's make this game. You can put this game at 2 scores in this weather. Western Tech hasn't shown you much of anything yet. So.
Yeah, let's see if the size difference from Western Tech starting to lean on those big defensive linemen. Let's see if they can shut down this Ignatius attack.
All right, we got St. Ignatius again under center. They got a 2-by-2 receiver look. The fullback flexed out to the wide side. He's in motion, faking the jet sweep. So Western Tech is not fooled. That's big Cooper Savicki says, not in my house today.
Yeah, shedding that block, getting right through that A-gap and making a tackle. Not fooled by the motion in the backfield. You can see him get right past number 65, that offensive guard, Nicholas Damour. Tough look on that play. Tough to block that big guy one-on-one.
All right, and so St. Ignatius here on 2nd and long. They're in that same formation with that tight end right. Fullback. Here comes Hyde in motion again. Fake the jet once more. He's got a man open. DB closes, can't get there. Oh, he's going to be real close to a first down. He might be a bit short. That's a great throw from St. Ignatius QB Nick Gracia. Gets that out to number 10, Brandon Carruthers.
Just an outstanding catch by Carruthers in the rain with the DB draped all over him. Fantastic concentration to haul that in. and then fight for that first down. They're so close, and it looks like they're going to end up about a yard short, but an excellent catch, and it looks like St. Ignatius is going for it here.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, you're punting into this weather is not really going to be great, and so St. Ignatius has got a good short edge there on the right-hand side. They're leading with Nick Moreno, and Nick Moreno says, I'm going to take this first down, and I'm going to get some more. He's going down the sideline. Great run, great balance from Moreno as he gets out of bounds inside the 15. Great run from St. Ignatius.
Again, those lead blockers out there for St. Ignatius just really opening up holes. You can see number 45, again, Nolan Poirier playing both sides of the football. Number 97, Avon Anderson as well. Just making great blocks for Marino to follow behind.
Yeah, that three-back step from St. Ignatius has been very effective so far, and we'll see if Western Tech can counter. But St. Ignatius right now looking pretty strong offensively and defensively. They're again in a two-back set here with that tight end to the right. 22, two receivers on each side. Taking that snap under center, Nick Moreno going straight up the gut, making a couple guys miss. Didn't look like he was going to get anything. Still managed to get 4. He is fighting for some first downs.
Yeah, really making things happen on the ground. Even if he doesn't get the blocking he's looking for, he's breaking tackles, making guys miss, fighting off that arm tackle of Big Cooper Savicki, and fighting for some positive yards on first down.
Yeah, and Western Tech has really got to make sure they can focus on stopping this running attack of St. Ignatius, or it is going to be a long afternoon for them. So Ignatius again and their two receivers on each side formation with that fullback off to the right. Got to imagine we're going to see more Nick Moreno here. Fullback in motion coming to the left. Oh, Western Tech stands tall. Great job of them.
Great job stacking it up right there. Looks like number 16, Levi Augustine, in at the bottom of that pile. Number 10 as well, yeah. Wilson Harrington, just making a great stop on second and short, forcing a decision here from St. Ignatius whether they're going to kick a field goal to go for points, try and go for that touchdown, get that first down.
Yeah, you got about 3rd and 3 here, and I think I as you see Ignatius getting ready to run this ball, and frankly, I agree with it. I think they've done a great job so far, and let's keep going. They got a double tight end set here with a fullback in the I formation. Quarterback Nick Grassi is changing the play, maybe talking to his guys in the backfield. Here we go. Here's the snap. Hands it back to Moreno. Does he get it? I don't know. He's still moving. That's not Moreno. That's Rodrigo Casio, but I don't think he gets it. Western Tech standing tall on defense, and you can see that rain coming down now with that tight shot.
Just a great surge by that Western Tech defensive line, again led by big number 55, Cooper Savicki, pushing that Ignatius line back and forcing that turnover on downs. What an excellent play by that defensive line. They were ready for that inside power.
Yeah, and they had to stand up when they needed to. That was a great time for them to say, hey, you can't get any closer here. We're approaching that goal line. We need to stand tall. So that was a great move by them. And Western Tech hopefully can show something on offense here. I like the call for St. Ignatius to go for that. Even if you kick a field goal, you're only going to score 3. If you can hold Western Tech here without getting a first down, you might get 2. And so they're in a spread formation here. Quarterback goes back to pass, throws it quick, throws it out there to, that's James Gabriel from Nate Alafonder, but it looks like he had his knee down. That's not Gabriel, sorry. That is Josh Holtzman catching the ball, but his knee is on the ground, and so the short gain brings up about 2nd and 8 for Western Tech.
Yeah, in high school football there, when you catch that football, if your knee's on the ground, then you are considered down. You're not able to get up and run like you can in the NFL.
All right, so Alfonder here is in the shotgun. Spread receivers. He's looking. Ignatius pressures him. He's running. Can they get there? He's got the edge. He goes out of bounds early. And so he does not get the first down here, and Western Tech looks like they are punting again.
Yeah, some good pressure, collapse in the pocket there. You can see number 8, that is Jace Zarowski, forcing that quarterback to pull it down and run just short of that first down. Yeah,
Carson Nash does a good job of pushing Alfonder out before the first down marker so that they can flip the field on Western Tech. So good job taking a good angle there and not giving him that stick like he wanted. All right, so Western Tech lines up to punt here, and you got to wonder, you're inside your own 20. You probably don't want to give up 2, but you're going to give St. Ignatius is going to get some real nice field position here if you punt this ball. So they're going to go back and they're going to give up 2. So that's a safety for St. Ignatius, and this is why you don't kick the field goal, is you might get that other team to give you a safety, and so you still gain some points and you get the ball back. So good work by St. Ignatius there, and good strategy, I think.
Yeah, I think a smart decision, too, on Western Tech's part. St. Ignatius has been moving that football. You don't want to give them really good field position, put your defense in a bind by having them defend a short field this way that St. Ignatius has to go all the way down to their own 35. You give them a long field, and hopefully you're able to make that stop before they can get into range for a field goal or to put it in the end zone.
Yeah, and especially considering St. Ignatius hasn't really threatened you through the air very much. They threw that one pass, but I'd be willing to say if I'm Western Tech, I'm going to give you a long field, and hopefully I can turn a ball over or get some stops and maybe build some momentum back up here. And I'd look for, if I'm St. Ignatius, I'm thinking I'm going to get back in my 3-back look, and I'm going to see if you can match me. So here we got some motion here going on. We have some 3 receivers into the left side of the field here. 2 backs in the backfield. Pretty standard look from St. Ignatius here as they take the snap under center. He goes a quick fly sweep here. Back bounces it outside. He's got a few yards. A nice tackle there. That looks like James Gabriel. And that's our guy Nolan Poirier on the fly sweep. Nice job of getting some yards on first down.
Yeah, really great tackle here on the edge. When you're out in space like that, James Gabriel does a great job coming downhill with speed, really putting his head on the football, forcing Poirier out of bounds before he can get a big gain.
Yeah, and so it looks like we've got a little stoppage on the field there with an injury. And so far what I'm seeing from St. Ignatius is that they are not daunted by the moment at all. They are taking this game really seriously. They've come very prepared and very prepped, and they are giving Western Tech all they can handle right now.
Yeah, absolutely. A really great showing from the Falcons so far on both sides of the football. Western Tech, though, too, is after that first series, they've really started to find their groove a little bit on offense. Their defense stiffened up when they needed to on that goal line stand. I think we're in for a really great game here the rest of the way.
Let's hope so. The weather's making it a little bit tough, but I think these are both ground and pound teams anyway, and so I think they're looking for the excuse not to throw the ball.
That was number 10 on the injury, Wilson Harrington, from Western Tech. One of their best defenders. We'll see how they respond with him out of the lineup.
All right, and we're looking at about 2nd and 7 here from St. Ignatius with that tight end look right. Oh, and a fumbled snap or a trick play or something gone wrong.
Western Tech says they have it.
Referee agrees with them, and that's exactly what you want if you're Western Tech. You give up the safety, you push them back on the field, now you get a turnover. Let's see if we can swing some momentum here as the first quarter comes to an end.
Yeah, really great job there. Good awareness by Western Tech on that fumble to jump on it, get possession of the football. We talked about the elements are coming into play again on that operation, getting that snap back from the quarterback. It's definitely not a given in these conditions.
Yeah, and so we're hoping that maybe Western Tech can put some yards in here and make an attack on the ball as we get into this second quarter, and I'm sure they're hoping to try to even up this game as soon as they can. So we're looking at St. Ignatius 9, Western Tech 0 here at the beginning of the second quarter. And so once again, this is the Northern Bowl brought to you by Riddell, and so Riddell is one of the leaders of football helmets in North America.
Yeah, really great sponsor to have and be part of this fantastic festival.
Western Tech's really wide here. The St. Ignatius DBs are almost on the sideline. You can't even see them in the screen. Western Tech goes to that side, catches the ball clean, makes a cut, makes a move, going up the middle of the field. That's a nice little run from Western Tech. And that looks like Jamal Samuel catching that screen pass and getting back upfield. Great work from Western Tech.
Yeah, really great job on the tunnel screen there. You can see the offensive lineman coming out to block for him. His receivers are blocking downfield. Just a great individual effort by Samuel. Breaking some tackles, coming back over the middle of the field, picking up some great yards and a first down for Western Tech.
Yeah, and I think if Western Tech could spread St. Ignatius out, that might help them out a bit. But really forcing St. Ignatius to defend the entire field right now. They have DBs from outside the numbers to outside the numbers. And so you can make a team defend the whole field, you're going to have trouble. Western Tech here taking the snap, dropping back.
There's a blitz.
We're getting sacked here. We're getting some pressure, and that's Western Tech's that's St. Ignatius' Jake Zarowski in on the quarterback again.
Yeah, just a really great blitz here by St. Ignatius. You'll see number 8, Zarowski, coming in. Number 33, coming off the edge as well. Zach Marino playing both sides of the football, really forcing that Western Tech quarterback to step up right into the arms of Zarowski for that sack.
And that's the only downside if you spread it out, is you got a little bit less protection in the middle. But we got second and about 15 here for Western Tech, and we'll see if they can complete another one. They've done a really good job. Again, they've got guys nice and wide, and so we'll see if they can take advantage of some holes in that defense.
Here comes another
Alejandro
blitz.
takes the snap, but he's got pressure right away. They're trying to get it out quick. That looked like a screen pass gone wrong, and unfortunately incomplete. It's looking 3rd and 15 for Western Tech. You got a bit of a decision here. Do you want to try to go for this, or do you want to try to punt it and pin them inside the 10?
Yeah, I think Western Tech had the right play call on there. They call the screen into the blitz to get those defenders coming upfield and throw it behind their heads, and just couldn't hang on to that football. Again, I think the weather is playing a factor in this.
And it looks like Western Tech is going for a field goal here. This will be a 39-yard field goal. Callum Honeyman, and we'll see if he can make this really, really long field goal here. This would be a big kick. We got a timeout being called from Western Tech. So maybe they're rethinking this decision, or maybe they just forgot to bring a guy on the field.
Putting a lot of pressure here on the holder. It looks like number 7, David Cruz, to get that football, catch it cleanly, and get it down for Honeyman to make this long attempt.
And what we see here is James Gabriel, who's been Western Tech's kind of one of their best guys so far. He's out wide here at the bottom part of the screen, and so maybe there's an option for them to throw the ball to him, or maybe he's just going to be able to release in coverage and try to put some pressure on that returner from St. Ignatius. St. Ignatius looks like they have 2 returners back, and of course their goal will be to get this ball out of the end zone to avoid giving up a single point.
Yeah, looks like Poirier and Height back there to return.
And those would be the 2 guys I'd put back there if I was St. Ignatius.
Absolutely.
So Callum Honeyman getting ready to kick this ball. Our referees are about to signal this play in. And here we get started. We got James Gabriel split way out to the left here. And we're a play ball here. Get the snap. Honeyman gets the kick. It's a little short. Fielded by St. Ignatius. Brought out. And oh, this could be a big one. Great job avoiding. And so that looks like Kevin Poirier bringing that ball out all the way almost to the 20-yard line. Great kick from Honeyman, just a little short.
Yeah, great coverage by Western Tech there, understanding that if that field goal is going to be short, they're going to have to get out in coverage and make that tackle. Excellent hustle by Western Tech. Great job by the big man there, number 64, finishing off that play. That is Big Gage Mullet making that tackle.
All right, so Western Tech going to be back on defense, and they're going to be hoping to turn St. Ignatius over here so they can try to put some points on the board. A good effort from them. And I like that look with Gabriel coming out a little bit wider and trying to pull some pressure away from the field goal protection team. St. Ignatius here back in their 22 formation, 2 receivers on each side. Their tight end split to the left, and they've got quarterback Nick Grassier back under center. We've got some motion here. We've got the handoff. Quick going on the jet sweep there. That's number 10, Brandon Carruthers. He's tackled after about a 5-yard gain.
Great tackle on the edge there. Looked like number 3, Tyler Richards, sniffing that play out, standing tall, making a great tackle out on the edge on that jet sweep.
Yeah, and St. Ignatius doing a good job of hitting all the gaps on offense and really making Western Tech defend the entire field, sideline to sideline. So we got about 2nd and 5 here from St. Ignatius. I'm sure they'd love to string a couple first downs together and get a little bit closer to that end zone, flip the field. Again, they've got their tight end on the left.
Looks like Western Tech's showing a blitz. They got their linebackers up tight. Here they come.
A little bit of motion here from St. Ignatius, but the Western Tech front stands tall and sniffs out that play. Number 90, Bennett Tesselin, says, I don't think so today. Shuts the door, and it's 3rd down for St. Ignatius.
That front's really coming through for Western Tech. Stopping them up at the point of attack. That's, again, number 55, Cooper Zavicki, along with Bennett Tesselin, shutting the door on that run, getting off their blocks, and making St. Ignatius think about that punt.
Yeah, and so the Falcons really came out gangbusters and really were pushing Western Tech back. Western Tech is starting to put some pressure back on them. So it'll be interesting to see over the next 8 minutes here who can make a swing and a score. St. Ignatius lining up to punt.
Got an onside player to the wide side of the field here. He'll be onside. He'll be able to get the football if they're able to get it towards him.
It's a good snap. That's a nice punt, angled straight out of bounds at about the 45-yard line. And so St. Ignatius is going to be giving that ball. It was Mateo Prushka. And so they're looking to give that ball to Western Tech on their side of the field.
Great pressure on the kick there, forcing maybe a bit of a shank off the side of his foot. Again, it's hard to tell how much the weather is affecting it, but I got to think even dropping the football to your foot as a punter, if it's a little slick, you're not hitting it cleanly like you want.
All right, so we'll see if Western Tech can keep that ball moving here and can protect that quarterback, Nate Alfonder, long enough to continue that movement. So again, we see this very, very wide set from Western Tech. And so you can't even see the wide receiver. He's almost off the screen. He's almost standing on the white tape out there. Really, really spread formation from Western Tech. And they get a fullback lead here, and that looks like James Gabriel taking that ball for about 5 yards up the middle. Nice run from Gabriel.
A really nice play call here. Like you mentioned, their receivers out wide, really forcing St. Ignatius to defend those receivers wide, and then you come back in the middle with a little bit fewer defenders in the box to try and hit that run up inside when everybody's all spread out for St. Ignatius.
James Galanis on a nice lead block there, really kicking out that edge player, allowing Gabriel to run inside. So again, we've got Western Tech in a 3-by-1 formation. Again, really spread out, and if St. Ignatius is going to go out there with you, you kind of don't have to block those guys. We have Gabriel in motion, making that a quad set. I'd be looking to throw the ball to him. Right inside. Oh, and just a tight, close pass. Jamal Samuel just can't bring it in. Alfonder kind of puts it on him, and it's looking like 3rd and 7 here for Western Tech.
Yeah, great late motion to quads there, forcing the defenders in a bind. You could see that defender chasing him late to the field, just couldn't quite haul in that pass.
Yeah, nice looking play call, but just tough to convert, and unfortunately in the rain and in the wind, it's not easy to throw that ball and get it on target. So Western Tech here looking like they're running an offensive play. They're going for it. I don't hate that at all. I think I'd love to see them convert a first down here. They have Gabriel in the slot closest to us.
Yeah, 3 receiver bunch to the short side of the field. Pressure.
Alfonder's under pressure. He's rolling right. Who's he got? Oh, looks like he did not haul it in. What a great effort from Gabe Kozamak.
Just a great effort here by Kozamak to pull in this football. Just couldn't quite get his feet down inbounds. Good escape by Alfonder, rolling out to his right, and just unfortunate, couldn't get his feet down. Referee says out of bounds.
Yeah, St. Ignatius getting some good pressure on the quarterback again on a critical down. We've seen them make Alfonder move his feet around a little bit, and that makes it hard for every quarterback.
Yeah, it seems like the Falcons really want to heat him up on 3rd down, bring extra guys on that blitz, and force him to make quick decisions or to use his athleticism to roll out, make him throw on the run.
All right, and so St. Ignatius getting to what looks like a tight end set here. Packing the box a little bit, trying to say, let's run this football a little bit more. That's Nick Marino running that ball and just getting a few yards. Western Tech able to stack them up at the point of attack.
Yeah, really great job by Western Tech. Making some adjustments here on defense to stack up that running game. Getting some great play by their big defensive linemen up front, including Savicki, Tesselin, and then their linebackers now able to flow and make those tackles on Marino and shut him down after a short gain.
Okay, St. Ignatius into a spread formation again here. 4 receivers out wide. Quarterback still under center, which makes sense in this weather. Getting ready to take that snap. Dropping back. Gracia throwing down the seam. He's got a man. That's complete for a St. Ignatius first down. That's number 10, Brandon Carruthers.
What a great catch by Carruthers, hauling it in, focusing on that football. Just a great play design, running up that seam when Western Tech comes up with their linebackers closer to the box and that safety to the wide side of the field. Just a great play design to have Carruthers up the seam for a big first down.
Great timing by Gracia, too, on that throw. We've got 3 receivers here from St. Ignatius to the short side of the field. Tight end left. Western Tech looks like they're bringing pressure. Here's Poirier. He's on the jet sweep. He's coming around. That's about 6 yards there as he takes a nice outside run for the Falcons.
That's an outstanding tackle by number 2, Cole Stevens, to just grab him by the shoelaces and not let him get outside. I think if he had been able to break that tackle, he had some blockers escorting him down to the end zone. Just a great tackle there.
Almost takes out our off the photographer there. So
Watch
nice
out,
run
Devin.
by Poirier. All right, Falcons are looking at about 2nd and 8 right now. And so a nice tackle from the last play puts the Falcons in a bit of a hole. And we'll see if they can get out of it here. Gracia taking the snap, looking like a play action fake. They've got a flood on. Is he there? Oh, he just overthrows his receiver. Maybe not quite the spacing they wanted, but a pretty good look from St. Ignatius.
Yeah, the Falcons are doing a really great job of showing multiple looks out of the same formation. They come out with that wing-back formation. They're running a little play action here to Marino and looking to get their receiver out on that little 10-yard out route to get that first down. Really great job of play calling, of setting up their plays, running out of that same formation, but giving Western Tech lots of different looks.
Yeah, and a great block by Clark Fawcett there to hold the edge on the left tackle. So great block. When you get an offensive lineman concealing an edge like that, it's really easy for that quarterback to roll out. And so here we've got St. Ignatius getting ready to punt this football.
We've got Mateo Marino on side again. So if he's able to get down to that football, he doesn't have to give yards.
It's a bad snap. Oh, he can't get it off. Prushka's wrapped up. And that's a big loss from St. Ignatius. And that's going to ignite Western Tech, get them the ball on the 50-yard line. And that's a tough mistake.
Weather strikes again, a tough snap, a little bit low. Tough to make that catch in this weather. Does a great job of not trying to kick it, not making a bad play even worse by kicking it into a block or fumbling the football. So great job by Prushka to not give up more yards, but a really, really tough situation for St. Ignatius on that punt. Western Tech looks like they want to take advantage.
Yeah, and Callum Bonk had pressured a punt earlier, and he did a great job there of getting in the punter's face and wrapping him up so that he didn't get an opportunity to gain any yards. And so we're almost here at the 3-minute warning. St. Ignatius still has that 9-point lead, and if Western Tech can get that ball moving here, I'm sure they'd love to put some points on the board before half. We see that double wing look from them again, so look for a lot of misdirection and a lot of power football from Western Tech. Oh, and they fumble the snap. Oh, goodness.
Oh, the Falcons say they have it.
St. Ignatius says, that's mine. They've got it. That's Jace Zarowski with the ball, and that's St. Ignatius football.
Well, I tell you, Kevin, the weather is playing a huge factor in this game. Really the third opponent out on that field, just having a heck of a time with the operation of getting that snap just up to the quarterback's hands. It can be so difficult when it's wet. The longer the game goes on, that ball gets slipperier and slipperier. It's a really tough thing to do, so we'll see. I think it might be the last team that makes that critical mistake is going to win this football game.
Yeah, and the Falcons got to feel pretty fortunate that they just bailed out that bad snap earlier. So they're going to be here to try to gain some yards. They've got 2 receivers to each side with their tight end right. Gracia takes the snap under center. He's tossing it right to Marino. Great block on the edge. He's running. That's a good 15 yards for a first down. Great work by the St. Ignatius offense.
Yeah, really great block there out on the edge by number 13, Aiden Palco. We talk about running the football and turning good runs into big runs, and really that only happens when your receivers block downfield. They get all the glory when they catch those touchdowns, but it's the dirty work of making those blocks out on the edge that springs those big runs.
Yeah, and if you want to play as a receiver, you got to be able to block. No block, no rock, as they say. All right, St. Ignatius here again in that 22 formation. They've got their fullback left, looking for maybe another power run here from the Falcons. A little bit of motion, a little bit of trickery. What's going on? Carruthers has got the ball. He's on a jet sweep. He's trying to get outside, and he gets cut down after a short gain.
That's our boy number 1, James Gabriel, again playing both sides of the football, stringing that run out, chasing down Carruthers out to the edge, and just making an outstanding open field tackle, closing that distance hard, getting right underneath and forcing him out of bounds.
Yeah, he does a great job of coming off the roof and coming down to make those plays. And so he's cut down St. Ignatius guys a couple times. And so St. Ignatius here looking to get that first down in that spread formation. Western Tech packing the box. Moreno takes the pitch. He's going right. He's got a hole. He's got a lane. He goes, oh, Gabriel cuts him down, but still gets a first down for the Falcons.
St. Ignatius does a really great job here of kicking out that edge defender, forcing and creating a hole for Marino to run through, but then Gabriel again stepping up, open field, making an outstanding tackle. Sometimes those corners don't like to hit. That is not the case for James Gabriel. He wants to get his nose in there and make those tackles.
All right, we got a 3-by-1 formation here, and the Falcons looking again to go with a quick fly sweep, jet sweep to Poirier. He's running tough. He's running hard. He's still running. You can't stop him. He's down inside the 5. That's another Falcons first down. They are running hard out there.
Just a really great run by Poirier. You can see the Western Tech defenders trying to tackle him up high. He's too big. He's too strong for that. Breaking those arm tackles, getting low, getting the shoulder pads underneath the defender, and keeping those legs churning to pick up those extra yards.
That's where you got one of those great 13s in there. That's in that situation, you're going to give that guy the football, and he's going to make good things happen. St. Ignatius here first and goal on the 5-yard line. I'm sure they'd love, with a minute left, to punch in another score, make this a 2-touchdown game. They're in that heavy formation again. Full 3 backs. Oh, another fumbled snap. Oh, my goodness. It looks like Western Tech gets it back. That's Callan Bonk. Unbelievable. What a tough break for the Falcons.
Oh, my goodness. St. Ignatius looked like they were going in for that touchdown, and the ball just slips out. Great awareness by Bonk to pick up that football in between his legs, pin it down, and make a great goal line stand for Western Tech.
Man, this is the battle of who doesn't want it the most. They were just giving that ball back and forth here. And so let's see if Western Tech, with 57 seconds on the board, can at least give themselves some space away from the goal line.
Yeah, you know, as a coach, you talk all the time about ball security, but really tough in these conditions, in these elements. I don't know if they're going to have to be taking their gloves off or putting their gloves on or getting that towel out or doing anything they can to get a handle on this football, because it is a slippery bar of soap right now.
Yeah, and so St. Ignatius is going to try and maybe put some pressure on here and see if they can cause a turnover and maybe get a defensive touchdown out of this. Western Tech in their big spread formation. Again, they got James Gabriel in the slot to the short side at the top of the screen. So, man, he's a guy to keep an eye on when they are on offense. Got a little fake count, dummy count there.
Falcons look like they're showing blitz.
Now Founders ready to hand that ball off. Oh, and a nice little run just to get back to the line of scrimmage. That looked like 17, James Galanis.
Yeah, Clark Venn making the tackle, but it's really number 33, Marino, who comes in there and forces that play. Great job by the Falcons to rally to that football, but just a great job shooting through that gap, making the play for the Falcons.
All right, and so we're about 2nd and 8 here for Western Tech, and they've got to be thinking we don't want to give up any more points this half. There's 25 seconds left on the clock. St. Ignatius content to let this clock run down here. Not going to put the pressure on Western Tech. Down to 17, and we're looking at probably this is going into halftime soon. Another run. Oh, Alfonder fakes it. He keeps it. He's got a lane. He's running. Hey, he gets a first down outside, almost outside the 25-yard line. Great run from Nate Alfounder, and he is going to get that Western Tech first down.
Yeah, don't know if that was a designed run or not. It looked like maybe he was going to hand that ball off. A little bit of a fumble there, and he picks it up and decides to take it himself. Does a great job of getting out of the shadow of his own goal line. And there's number 45, our buddy Nolan Poirier, coming in from the backside and making that tackle.
And this will be the last play of the first half here as Western Tech manages to get out from the shadow of their old goal post. And are they going to try to score here? Or looks like they are. They're going to try to get it deep. Throwing a deep ball. What could happen? Oh, it's just knocked down. St. Ignatius has 4 guys around the football.
Yeah, it's always a great look when you're trying to get the ball to James Gabriel. He's been making a lot of things happen, but just too many defenders around the football in that instance.
All right, and so we hope you enjoyed that first half of the Northern Bowl. St. Ignatius is up 9-0 on Western Tech. And what the story of the first half here is, Andrew, is just the bad weather and the ball handling.
Yeah, it's been really, really tough. It's a hard thing sometimes. Football is an outdoor sport. You want to see these athletes play, but of course we have to play in the elements, and sometimes the elements really dictate the football game. Be interesting to see what these teams come out with at halftime in terms of adjustments that they're making, ways to make sure that they're holding on to that football and letting their athletes play the game.
All right, and so we'll see what comes out in the second half here. Hopefully Western Tech can have some answers, and St. Ignatius can keep playing that underdog role and keep throwing haymakers. Northern Bowl and our is brought to you by Riddell and our whole.
My team felt like a family. We were a family. We did everything together. It wasn't just drills and early practices, it was everything in between. We had so much fun, and it was our coaches who made it happen. Now I'm coaching, and I see myself in my team. They're learning, working hard, and building their own friendships, just like I did. That's why I coach.
Dear student, I'm glad you decided to join the team. I know at first you weren't sure if it was your kind of thing. Honestly, I thought the same thing about being a coach. Would I have the time? Could I handle the workload? Well, the answer is yes. And it's been so worth it. I've seen how school sports help students build confidence and improve their grades. And the research backs it up. But what I didn't know is how getting to know my students as a coach could actually make me a better teacher.
Dear Coach, thank you for missing your family dinner so we can practice. Thank you for being on our side. Thank you for teaching us the things that are in the curriculum and the things that aren't. Because while we were getting ready for the big game, we were actually getting ready for the rest of our lives.
Dear Mom and Dad, studies show that I'm more confident in my abilities.
I'm more empowered to stand up for what I believe in.
More likely to stay away from tobacco, alcohol, and drugs.
To find positive ways to overcome my challenges.
I care more about school and my homework.
I feel more in control of my life
and my future.
And it's all because you realize that school sports are about more than championships.
We know that school sports have a positive effect on our children's social skills, academic success, and even mental health. Students who play school sports feel more capable of achieving their goals in school. Girls who play sports have a greater social and economic mobility. And adults who played school sports display higher levels of leadership, self-confidence, and self-respect. So what does that look like in the real world? There are examples of successful people who played school sports in every industry. Entertainment, business, healthcare, and beyond. But the most important success stories are those of the people who make sure that sports are and continue to be a vital part of the school experience, because they are the ones writing the success stories of tomorrow.
Cambridge Lions football, where athletes roar. Flag football for boys and girls U8 to U18. Contact football for players U10 to U18. Feel the rush, the roar, the pride of being a Lion. Every play builds confidence, leadership, and community that lasts far beyond the field. Join the pride. Register today at CambridgeLionsFootball.ca.
When I was in high school, my team felt like a family. We were a family. We did everything together. It wasn't just drills and early practices. It was everything in between. We had so much fun.
All right, and we're back here at the Northern Bowl. Both teams are coming out of halftime. They got dry, they got warm, and they're looking to come back out in this weather and put together a great second half here.
Yeah, the rain certainly hasn't let up at all. We'll see how it affects the second half as we see some highlights from the first half here. Just a great job, St. Ignatius, of moving the football in that first half. You can see Marino punching it in there. Really great job on the ground, like we talked about in the opener. Western Tech looked like to be the bigger team, but St. Ignatius has been able to move that football on the ground.
Yeah, St. Ignatius has not shied away from the moment, and if anything, they've been able to put a lot of pressure on Western Tech, especially while Western Tech's been on offense. And so it's been great to see these guys just playing full steam, full go. Obviously, they decided, hey, we took a long bus ride here. You know, we might as well give everything we got while we're here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see in spite of the weather. We'll see if some of these receivers on both sides of the football, Gabriel for the Colts and Carruthers for the Falcons, if they're able to make a little bit more of an impact on this football game.
Yeah, and unfortunately the story's been the weather so far, and hopefully that weather can kind of clear up a little bit and we can get some fumble-free football here in the second half, as just these teams are just having trouble with all this rain and wetness.
Yeah, protecting the football and possession will be key in this second half. And like we talked a little bit about there, who's going to make that big critical mistake to walk away with the victory in this football game?
Yeah, I mean, it's still only a 9-0 football game. It's not out of reach in any stretch, and so Western Tech is just one snap away from making this a very, very close football game. And exciting to see what goes on here at the second half as our referees are just getting everything sorted. And I think Western Tech should be getting the ball back here, and so we'll see what, St. Ignatius kind of looked like they were trying an onside kick a little earlier, and it kind of got thwarted. So maybe that's something you start the second half with.
Yeah, we'll see. Western Tech should be prepared now. They've seen it a couple of times, ready to field that onside kick. But if not, if they get it in the hands of their returners, especially Gabriel and their other returner, Samuel, back there, it makes some electric things happen in the open field.
Right, and the Falcons look like they're ready to go here. They're not cold, I'm sure. Thunder Bay is a little bit colder than this, but they're definitely feeling the effects of that rain, just like everybody else.
Yeah, they're used to this being snow at this time of year up there.
All right, we're getting ready to start the second half here as our officials get everybody sorted out. Our officials here, we get at Ofsaa, we get officials from all over the province coming in to do games, and so it's great to see just a bunch of different areas and their support of what we do here at Ofsaa football, and helping make this such a great tournament and great experience for the athletes.
Yeah, big shout out to the officials. We obviously don't get any games if there's nobody to referee them, so just a really fantastic job. And unfortunately, they have to be out in the elements as well, too. So not only the players, but the officials battling these elements here today and just doing a great job making this happen.
All right, and another short kick from St. Ignatius. It looks like it's fumbling around. It looks like the Falcons might have it. Man, another one. And that's Zach Marino coming up with that Prushka short kick. What a great job by St. Ignatius.
Yeah, just a really tough one there for number 13, Will Kaufman, bouncing off his hands, off his legs, and trying to get on that football. Just couldn't do it. Number 7 as well, David Cruz. They were ready for it, but like we talked about, that football is slippery, and it's hard to get control. St. Ignatius, the beneficiaries of that bounce.
All right, and so we'll see if the Falcons can take some advantage here. They did a great job in the first half of really winning the field position battle, and I think that made a big difference. And so hopefully for them, they can continue that here as they're in that 3-back set again that we saw earlier that was so successful for them. Western Tech countering with a nice heavy look up front.
Linebackers up close look like they're coming on the blitz.
Oh, and there's Marino on the pitch again, and we've seen this a few times, and man, he does a great job of just slipping some arm tackles. Takes 2 or 3 Western Tech guys to bring him down after a gain of about 8.
Just a really great block at the point of attack here by Nolan Poirier, number 45. See him coming into your screen there. Getting that defender, just driving him backwards and putting him on the ground, allowing Marino to get to that edge.
Man, that's a great lead block there. Whenever you can put a defender on the ground, you're doing a great job as a blocker. So we're going to have about 2nd and 8 here. We got a little delay for a down Western Tech player as the Falcons are hoping they're going to be able to move this football.
Yeah, can't quite see the number on that just yet, but looks like one of their field side defenders, one of their DBs for Western Tech.
So a dream start here for the Falcons, being able to recover that onside kick, gain a bunch of yards on first down, and Western Tech needs to make sure they've got an answer for what's going on here.
Looks like it's number 16, Levi Augustine, who's up and walking under his own power, a little gingerly off to the sideline. Hopefully he'll be able to come back into this football game.
All right. Referee's blowing us in here, and the Falcons are breaking the huddle on offense once again. Getting set up again. We're on the 47-yard line here of Western Tech in that 3-back look for St. Ignatius. They're leading power to the right. Marino slips through. He goes, and he looks like he's gotten just enough to get that first down. Another run for Zach Marino.
Yeah, Marino, just a big, strong back coming through the hole, breaking through those arm tackles. You see again, 55, Zavicki off the edge. Number 13 as well, Will Kaufman, just couldn't quite bring him down until he got that first down.
They're also doing a great job of avoiding the real big size up front in the Western Tech defense by attacking those edges. All right, we've got that triple back look here for the St. Ignatius Falcons again. Heading to the right here, takes the snap. Grassy takes the snap. A little bit of misdirection here. Oh, and that's Poirier. Man, he is running through, around, and over top of people, getting another first down for the Falcons.
Yeah, nice little counter there, like we said, on that backfield motion. Coming back, you can see that guard pull, number 55, getting a kick out on the edge. And then it's just the strength of Poirier running through arm tackles, making defenders taking 6-7 defenders to bring him down and get that first down.
So a great job by the Falcons, just keeping everybody on their toes and making sure that they're attacking all the gaps on offense. Great job here. They're now back in their spread set as they're looking to continue to drive this football down the field. Falcons go with the toss again to Marino. Oh, he's got the edge. He's going around. He's going through. Can he get there? Oh, a nice tackle by Western Tech, but again, another first down on the ground from the Falcons.
Yeah, touchdown saving tackle there by Beck in the back at safety position, coming up and making sure that wasn't a touchdown, but just another great run there by Marino. He's really having his way with this Western Tech defense, especially up front.
Yeah, they're doing a great job, again, attacking those edges and just making sure that they're negating the size advantage of Western Tech. And so I bet you the Falcons would love to punch one in here, make it a 2-score game, and really put Western Tech on their heels. Last time they were down this close, they had a fumble. So Grassi takes the snap. He goes back. He gets it to Poirier on the jet sweep. He's coming around. Oh, a big hit. Poirier gets about 4 or 5 before he gets tackled.
Yeah, it looked like it was number 3 there, Tyler Richards in his linebacker spot. Coming up off the edge, it looked like he was ready to spy, and I think Western Tech's doing a really great job now of getting those edge defenders to get up the field to the level of the football and then close down so that the Falcons can't get to that outside.
Man, Dakota Mubarak makes a big shed and a tackle there. Great play by him. St. Ignatius here on 2nd down and about 7. Getting set up front. Center's making sure he's got that ball nice and dry. Here comes the receiver. He's coming in. That's Carson Height, and he's in the end zone. Great jet sweep from Carson Height.
That's just an awesome play by St. Ignatius there. The Falcons, you can see Height coming around the edge with speed, gets that handoff, makes a nice little cut back to the inside, and he finds the end zone, won't be denied, gets on the board for 6 more.
Great job from St. Ignatius again, just taking advantage of some misdirection, a little bit of eye candy, a little bit of eye discipline from Western Tech, and St. Ignatius is on the board with their 2nd touchdown of the day.
Yeah, you're going to really see the speed of the Falcons receivers. Once they get the ball in their hands, they're able to make plays in the open field, find that end zone.
All right, we got Prushka here for the extra point. He kicks it, it's up and through. Referees are waving it down. There's a timeout on the field. Looks like St. Ignatius called timeout before the snap.
I think the coach iced his own kicker in that instance. Hopefully he can make it a 2nd time.
I think they might be going for 2 here. I think that's why they're calling them back. They're saying, wait a minute, we did the math on the sideline. It's time to go for 2 here. So we've got the Falcons looking like they're running the offense back on the field, trying to get this to 17.
Yeah, if you can get that 2-point conversion, make it a 3-score football game, especially in these weather conditions, that might be a tough task for Western Tech to overcome in this 2nd half.
Yeah, so a lot of coaches have a chart on the sideline when you should go for it and when you shouldn't. And so sometimes the weather might change those answers, but for the most part, you've got a pretty good idea of whether you want to go for 2. And 15 or 16 in most cases is pretty much the same. Falcons are in that 3-back set that's worked so well for them. They've got Poirier split out. They've got Marino in the backfield, and so I would be looking for them to feed Zach Marino here. He's had a great game so far. Oh, it's a fake. They've got the receiver wide open. He's in the end zone, and they catch it. That's a 2-point conversion. That's Poirier. What a catch from him. He's been all over the field.
Yeah, you throw it to him, you hand it to him, going on the block. Poirier is just making his mark on this football game, getting that 3-score lead now for St. Ignatius. Thought they might be going to Carruthers, but Poirier says, no, that's my football.
It's a great little flood concept, and we saw them run that a little bit earlier, and their spacing wasn't quite right. This time they had the receiver nice and low, and they really did a good job of stretching that Western Tech defense.
Yeah, it really puts a lot of pressure on Western Tech when you run that play action. They've had to stack up against the run. St. Ignatius has been able to run the ball so effectively, really opens up that play action pass.
So we got 17-0 here for the St. Ignatius Falcons over the Western Tech Colts. 8 minutes and 13 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter. And St. Ignatius is looking like they are in control. So they're going to try to kick this ball. Maybe they're going to try to kick it short. They've had some great success with that, but Western Tech looks very prepared to defend that right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see that onside kick again. It seems to be their signature.
All right, Prushka going to kick, and again he jumps the kick. The referee is not blowing the ball in yet. So kicked it a little bit early, maybe gave away what he was doing, but definitely looks like he's kicking deep this time.
Yeah, a little bit anxious on that one. Looks like he's trying to drive that football low and getting a bounce off the turf and making it skip, especially in these wet conditions, making it hard for those returners to pick it up cleanly and get some yards.
Yeah, and a lot of times if you can get that ball to skid on the ground and bounce past the returner, you might even have a really good chance of recovering it. So I like the strategy there from Prushka and the Falcons.
Yeah, some high-level special teams here by St.
and
Ignatius.
it's a booming kick, and he boots it into the end zone. It's rolling back to the back checker. That receiver steps out of bounds. That's a single point for the Falcons. What a great kick from Prushka. And I'm glad they went for 2 because now they're at 18 instead of 17.
Yeah, Prushka, a real weapon here for St. Ignatius. What a kick in these conditions. Just sailed it over the head of the returner and then gets that fortunate bounce right back to the end of the end zone. And a really tough one there for Gabriel to pick up and keep his feet in bounds. A tough point to give up there, but what a weapon as a kicker in Prushka.
And it's funny, they hadn't showed a really deep kick yet, and so the Western Tech returners had moved up, and then he was able to boot a big one like that. So sometimes it just goes to show it's okay to hold those cards a little close to your vest and not show everything right away. And in a game where you don't know your opponent and you've maybe never seen them play, you don't know what they're capable of all the time.
Yeah, and in a game like this where points are at a premium, that could turn out to be a really big single point.
All right, so Western Tech breaking the huddle here. They're looking like they're in a spread set. We've got 2 receivers to the wide side of the field, 3 to the short side of the field. We've got some motion coming back, so that's into the backfield here. Lots of movement from Western Tech. We got a lead up the middle, and that's going nowhere. Guess who? Nolan Poirier says, I don't think so.
Yeah, you can just see St. Ignatius here. They are getting off blocks, meeting the receiver or the running back in the backfield, almost taking the handoff from the quarterback. Really starting to exert their physical dominance up front here. Linebackers just be able to come downhill, make plays. They're playing really free right now.
All right, and so Western Tech looking here at 2nd and 12, spreading that ball out a little bit, really working these receivers. They got their slot back on the line here, a little bit of a different formation, rolling right. Alfonder's got not a man, he's got a receiver. He can't find him, he just gets it out of bounds. And they're going to be punting here on 3rd and 12. So good set to get that ball out wide, but just can't find a receiver when he needs to.
Yeah, I really like the call by the Colts to try and get Alfonder on the run, get him out of the pocket, get him away from some of that pressure to try and find a receiver. Fortunately, nobody just opened up for him and had nowhere to go with the football. Great job of avoiding the lost yardage and give him a chance to make this punt, set their defense up with a longer field.
Yeah, so we'll see. If I'm the Falcons, I might be thinking I'm trying to block this punt here. Western Tech's had a little bit of trouble getting that snap off. It is wet conditions, and so I got to put some pressure on this punter and see if I can put a ball in the end zone. But Western Tech is looking like they're getting some heavy protection inside, maybe getting ready for that block punt. A good snap there from Western Tech. Decent kick. He's got the returner's got the edge. He's got the outside. He's going. That's 36. That's Kevin Poirier, and he's got that ball close to where the first down marker was for Western Tech, just outside of the 45-yard line. We'll call it the 47.
Yeah, nice kick by Stevens to the wide side there. Western Tech does a great job in coverage, getting down, surrounding that ball carrier. Poirier looked like he might have had an edge there, but Western Tech surrounds him, makes that tackle, keeps him back on the 45-yard line.
Yeah, nice work by Richard Dixon there, keeping that returner to the inside, not allowing him to get the edge. And so Western Tech here defending St. Ignatius. St. Ignatius is 1st and 10 on the 45-yard line. And I would expect to see more of that Falcon ground and pound offense.
Yeah, a really critical drive here for the Western Tech defense. You really need to get a stand. Don't give up any more points if you want to stay in this football game.
All right, and so we've got what looks like a 3-by-1 set here from St. Ignatius. Ball's getting snapped to Grassi. Poirier goes for he looks like he wants to throw it. Poirier's just running, wants to throw it, doesn't throw it, gets tackled in the backfield. Wow, that was a trick play all the way. Receivers are down the field. Western Tech sniffs it out. Great job by them.
Yeah, they weren't fooled a bit by that trick play. Poirier's not really the guy that you're going to hide on this football field. They know who he is right now, number 45. Yeah, I think you're right there, Kevin. Looked like he wanted to throw that football. Good decision by him. especially in these elements, to not force a football, force a turnover. When you're not a quarterback, it's sometimes hard to make that play, especially on the run, being hounded by those defenders. So a smart play on his part. That trick play, they wanted it to happen, but good decision to not throw that football.
Yeah, better to lose a yard than lose the ball. So here we are at 2nd and 11 here for the Falcons. All right, we've got their spread wide receiver set here, and Poirier's off to the left edge, and I wonder if they're going to try to just feed Moreno the ball here on this play. No, it's a drop back for Grassi. He's got the seam. He's got the catch. He's going. That's Carruthers. He's into the end zone, up the seam and into the end zone. That's a touchdown for the St. Ignatius Falcons.
What a great pass here up that seam route again. They ran that earlier in the game. Carruthers made that catch, wasn't able to keep his feet. This time he hits him in stride all the way down, breaks a tackle from that defender all the way into the end zone for a touchdown. St. Ignatius on the board again.
Yeah, Nick Grassi, a really good job of just dropping back, getting his back foot down and throwing that football. And, you know, at the end of this game, he might not have a ton of passing yards, but he's been very, very effective when they wanted him to throw the football. And so really good work by him.
Yeah, the Falcons have picked their spots nicely to throw that football, and Carruthers is such a weapon. Big, tall, lanky receiver, able to catch it in stride and break that tackle to get in the end zone.
Ball's up for Prushka, gets the single point through. So we are at 24-0 for the Falcons here over Western Tech. And this one's getting late early here in the weather. It's going to be tough for Western Tech to come back with how against the ball they are right now.
Yeah, Western Tech, we'll see how they respond. We know these teams have faced adversity. They're here at the Ofsaa Bowl Series, which means they've had success in season. So I know that they're a well-coached team. They won't give up the fight till the end of this game here, but a really tough hill to climb.
Yeah, Western Tech actually beat a favored Etobicoke CI team to get here in the Toronto City Championship. So they're definitely not strangers to being a little bit of an underdog and in a tough situation, but they've fought hard all season. I know that. So hopefully we can see them continue to fight and continue to put pressure on the other team here.
We'll see if Iggy goes for another onside kick, fake kick here. Again, Prushka's been a weapon on these kickoffs.
Yeah, if I'm a returner, I don't know where to line up right now. I don't know if that ball's going short. I don't know if that ball's going deep. Really going to make them very uncomfortable here. He's going to wait for the referee this time. Referee blows it in. All right, Prushka's going back. He's approaching the ball. Big kick here. He's going deep again. Fielded by Western Tech. He's got a hole. He's got a lane. Nice run, but a great tackle by St. Ignatius. Guess who? I've said his name a couple times. Nolan Poirier comes down and makes a great tackle on special teams.
Yeah, he is all over the football field, and what a hit coming down on special teams. Stood that returner up. Bang! Bringing him down to the ground.
Yeah, Jamal Samuel there with a nice little return, but Western Tech does not have an answer for Mr. Poirier today.
Well, I tell you what, Kevin, we got a lot of OUA and U Sport coaches here. I bet you they're circling and highlighting number 45, Nolan Poirier. He's been all over the football field.
That's a real who's that guy, right? Let's take a look at him. All right, and so we got Western Tech here on offense, getting a little bit of motion in. Gabriel in the slot. They're throwing it out. Oh, he gets it out to that looked like Samuel out there, but he just couldn't bring it down. Tough pass for Western Tech.
Yeah, they make a great play call here. Samuel's open, delivers the ball on time, and just the weather again. Like I said, I don't know if we need to take the gloves off or put new gloves on or get the towel going, but something we got to focus on making that catch before you turn to go upfield.
Great work by Western Tech there, creating a receiver open, and hopefully they are able to spring somebody loose here on second down. Nate Alfonder getting ready to take the snap, drop it back. Looked like Samuel there. Think he's made the catch. Nice job by him pulling that ball down. And we're really close to a first down. You got to think even if it's not, Western Tech's going for this.
Yeah, they do give him that first down. Great awareness by Samuel to get to the sticks. Knows where he needs to be for the first down. Makes the catch. Secures the football this time. Gets that first down. Keeps their drive going.
Yeah, and I love going back to him, right? He made a very uncharacteristic drop the play before. Go back to him. Have some love for him. Have some faith in him. Great job by Nate Alfonder there, being a great leader and getting that guy the ball.
Yeah, as a receiver, you want to know that your quarterback has confidence in you. What better way than to go right back to you after a drop?
All right, Western Tech here on 1st and 10 on the 45-yard line. Here comes James Gabriel in motion. James Gabriel, oh, he takes a jump. What a nice run by James Gabriel, hurdling a defender as he gets 4 yards.
Yeah, just an outstanding athletic play by Gabriel on the jet sweep, getting him ball in space. Defender comes down and nope, up and over. Gabriel making a play, trying to do everything he can for his team, and it looks like, unfortunately, we got an injured Falcon down on the field. Can't really see the number right now.
Looks like it might be number 45, Nolan Poirier, so that would be a huge loss for St. Ignatius if he has to come out of the game for a minute or two.
Yeah, you never want to see injuries. Unfortunately, they're part of football. I hope he's not injured too badly.
So it'll be Western Tech here, 2nd and 7 from the 48-yard line once we're back in play.
Yeah, and for St. Ignatius, if this is Poirier, it looks like it is down on the field. You wonder who they have to step up and replace him. I know his brother there, Kevin, making some big plays from his safety position. Zach Marino as well in that linebacker spot in the middle. Has been running the ball really effectively, but also playing a great linebacker spot. So he may be the one that's going to shoulder the load for this Falcons defense going forward.
Poirier looks like he's coming off the field a little gingerly, a little sore, and really, really wet. But I would bet he does not want to finish his football career that way. And so you never want to see anybody in their last game of high school football having to come off like that. But hopefully he's able to get back on the field here pretty soon. So just an absolutely fantastic game from this young man so far today.
Yeah, you never like when you have to be helped off by your teammates, but we'll hope that he's able to come back in this football game. But even if he hasn't, he has certainly left a mark on this game.
Guys helping him to the sideline there, and hopefully our trainer can take a look at him and make sure that he's all right as Western Tech breaks the huddle here and getting ready to go down on their 2nd and 7 play.
Looks like they got Samuel in the slot again. Maybe look for him. He's been having some success getting open.
All right, Alfonder takes the snap. He's rolling around. He's rumbling. Oh, he gets just outside. Steps out of bounds at about the 50. That'll be a Western Tech first down. They're stringing together a couple of plays here. And if you're a Western Tech fan, this is what you like to see. This is that explosive offense that they've been waiting for.
Yeah, Alfonder looked like he was a little ginger at the end of that run. Hopefully he can keep going, but just a great job of stepping up in the pocket, escaping number 97, the big rush there by Avon Anderson, and doing a great job of getting those yards for his team, getting that first down, taking the ball on his shoulders. Again, tough to throw in these conditions, so great recognition on his part. Hopefully he'll be okay. Like I said, he looked a little ginger at the end of that play.
Yeah, and if I'm their coach, I'm thinking I like getting this guy on the move a little bit, especially in this weather. It shrinks the throw for him. So you may see him try to roll out a little bit more here, but Western Tech still going back to that very, very spread offense. So receivers, again, are off the screen. They're so wide. Western Tech's taking the snap here. Running back in motion. Oh, he's going for a big one. He's throwing to James Gabriel. Ball hits the turf just before. Really, really good shot at a big play there.
Yeah, just a great throw, gutsy throw by Alfonder, standing in, taking the hit, making that throw to the wide side of the field, and just a little short for Gabriel.
And some really nice coverage by Mateo Marino, probably the younger brother of Zach Marino. We got some brother and brother situations here for the Falcons, but some great work by him on the coverage team. So Western Tech is at 2nd and 10 here on the 50-yard line. And again, they're looking at that really, really spread set, and I think they like it just to try to get their guys a little bit of space, right? Making St. Ignatius defend the whole field.
Looks like they got Gabriel isolated to the short side of the field, and they're looking
Snap,
for him
they're
again.
going that way. There's the snap, and they just unfortunately can't seem to hit those passes. It is tough to throw the ball vertically in this weather right now. Again, you can kind of see it on the screen, but that rain is coming down pretty hard.
Yeah, you can just see Gabriel at the end of this play. He's frustrated. He's beaten his defender. He's behind the coverage, and they just can't get him the football for him to make plays.
Yeah, and that young man's been playing both sides of the ball, offense and defense, returning the ball in special teams. So, he's playing his heart out for his teammates today. So. Western Tech on third down here. They look like they're going for it, and I don't mind that. They're down 25 points here. They're almost closing in at the end of the third quarter. Might as well try to make something happen here. I might have tried to get a little bit more yards on second down, so I wasn't looking at 3rd and 10, but they got a real interesting formation here. They're very cramped out of the boundary side, so just a lead run for James Gabriel here on 3rd and 10, and the Falcons wrap them up and say, that's our football now.
Yeah, big number 97, Avon Anderson, making a great play on 3rd down. It looks like Western Tech's just trying to do anything they can to get the ball into the hands of their playmakers, Gabriel in particular, but just nowhere to go on that run.
And so the Falcons turn the ball over on downs. They're going to be just outside their own 45-yard line, and that's great field position as we're looking at the last minute and a half of this third quarter. St. Ignatius is thinking, we need to keep this ball on the ground, and I still haven't seen Nolan Poirier come back into the ball game, so they may lose an essential part of their offensive attack.
Yeah, it looks like the trainers are still taking a look at him over there on in that injury tent.
All right, so we've got a two-back look here for St. Ignatius. Quarterback takes the snap, zips it out on a quick screen. Oh, and the Western Tech defender is there.
Looks like that was number 13, Aiden Palco on that reception. Western Tech right there for the tackle.
I think that was number 2, Cole Stevens, coming up and making a tackle there. Great job by him, forcing that issue. Tough to see those Western Tech numbers, unfortunately, in the rain here.
Yeah, as this weather keeps getting worse and worse, our booth, we're getting hit by the rain as well, and our windows are fogging up. It's hard to see down onto that football field, but here we go, lined up again with St. Ignatius on offense.
All right, St. Ignatius taking the snap. Gracia dropping back. He's moving around. He's getting out of the pocket. He's scrambling. He's got about 8 yards, but that's not going to be enough to get the first down, and St. Ignatius is going to have a decision to make here.
I think if you're St. Ignatius on 3rd and short, Western Tech has proven that they can't really stop your inside run game. Now, without Poirier in the backfield as a lead blocker, maybe it makes a different decision, but if I'm St. Ignatius, I'm going for it here.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if I can get that ball to Zach Marino on the edge and get these 2 yards that I need here. So we'll see what they can do.
Yeah, it looks like number 40, Hayden Bach, has taken that wing position from Poirier and being that lead blocker out on the edge. Looks like they're keeping their offense on the field, and they're going for it here.
Yeah, referee's blowing that play in. This would be the last play probably here of the third quarter. St. Ignatius getting ready to run this 3rd and 2nd play with 5 seconds left in the half. They're going to let this clock tick down. I hope they do know they need to snap it, though. Oh, a great tackle. Carson Hite gets the ball on the jet sweep, and that's Kalen Bonk and Landon King coming in and making great plays for Western Tech.
Yeah, you can see King flying into the backfield here on his from his linebacker position, not fooled at all, and just makes a great open field tackle on that jet sweep.
Great job by him. Great job by Western Tech there, turning that football over on downs, trading it back and forth with St. Ignatius. And now we've got the start of the 4th quarter here. Western Tech is going to be looking to build on some of that momentum and put some points on the board.
Yeah, just a great play by their defense. Let's see if the offense can use that momentum to get something into the end zone here.
All right, so as a reminder, our Northern Bowl here is brought to you by Riddell. Riddell is some of the leaders in football helmet technology in North America, and they're a big trusted partner not only of Ofsaa, but of all of Ontario minor football and professional football levels as well. All right, Western Tech is getting ready here on 1st and 10. Running 3 receivers into the short side of the field here, which is closest to us, and 2 into the boundary. They got James Gabriel in the boundary up there. He's got lots of space. I wonder if they try to get him that football. Oh, another bad snap. Nate Alfonder can't handle it, and it's on the turf, and we're looking at second down for the Colts.
Yeah, it looked like Alfonder was trying to get out to the edge again, get him some space to throw the football, but just wasn't unable to handle that low snap. And unfortunately, Western Tech is backing themselves up here. Negative plays on offense makes it really tough. Second and long. Not a lot in the playbook for second and 15.
Oh, in Canadian football, if you lose yards on first down, it is really hard to keep going in the right direction. And so, obviously, nobody wants to have a bad snap, but it becomes really critical. Western Tech getting themselves into a quads look here, so they've got 4 receivers to the top of your screen. That's not 1 receiver down at the bottom. Alfonder takes the snap. Some pressure coming from St. Ignatius. Alfonder's moving around. He finds he's got a target. Can't quite haul it in, but we got a flag on the field. I think we're looking at offside on the defense.
Yeah, I think that was a free play there for Western Tech, so even though it was incomplete, they'll get another chance to do it again.
Yeah, really close look, just a hair high from Alfonder again in the weather. It's tough to make precision passes. So we're going to have, looks like offside defense, second down repeated here.
Well, much more manageable now, getting those 5 free yards back for Western Tech. We'll see if they can pull something out of the playbook again. They've had some receivers open. They just haven't been able to complete those passes. We'll see if they're able to make a catch here on second down and keep this drive going.
Yeah, I really like how they spread the field out a ton and really force St. Ignatius guys to cover a big part. I mean, we got a 65-yard wide field here in Canada, and they are using every single inch of it, or every single centimeter of it, I should say. Nice and wide here in a 2-by-3 set from Western Tech, getting ready to snap that ball. Alfonder takes the snap. It's a little low. He handles it. He's got the right edge. He's going to roll out. He's looking for some help. Oh, and a great sack there.
This looks like Nicholas Chiodo coming up from his linebacker spot and making that tackle.
And I think he's the guy that came in and played when Nolan Poirier came out. And so it's nice to see him making some plays and probably making Poirier feel a little better that he's not on the field right now.
Yeah, just a great read by Chiodo to come down from that linebacker spot. Looks like he was spying the quarterback. Again, they're trying to get Alfonder out on the edge to make some throws a little bit easier, and he tracked him down, made that tackle again in the open field, shut that drive down.
All right, so it looks like Western Tech is back to punt here, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a fake from them or something to try and create some offense here as they're getting to be inside of the last 10 minutes of the game. Short snap, tough one from Western Tech. Oh, and St. Ignatius is all over it. What a hit. That's Avon Anderson. We've said his name a couple times. He's a two-way lineman for the Falcons, and he really got in there and made a play.
Yeah, so one of the worst things you can see as a punter, that ball bouncing around, you pick it up, and there's big number 97, boom, coming right down, right in your face to make that tackle.
So another turnover on downs here. That's 3 in a row here for the offenses. And obviously we said the weather's making an effect. Nobody's able to really kick that ball and gain field position. So maybe St. Ignatius can take advantage here and see if they're able to push that ball a little bit farther down the field. Again, they've done a great job of utilizing all their players in some different ways, but they're back in their 3 running back set here, and this has been a staple for their offensive attack. Moreno taking the pitch. He's going out. Western Tech just does a great job of stringing that run out, and that's Colton Savicki, and that's a big fella to be landing on top of you as you're carrying that ball.
Yeah, great job by Savicki at the point of attack, and then Landon King coming off the outside edge, really tracking that play down, making sure that it doesn't go any further.
Yeah, and you love to see the backside defensive players scraping all the way down the line and making a play. That guy's running to the football. Good things are going to happen.
Yeah, Western Tech not showing any signs of letting up here. Again, down a few scores, but they're really showing what they're made of.
Love that. So 2nd and 10 here for St. Ignatius as they get back in their 3-back set. They're taking the snap. Garcia goes back to pass. He's got Aiden Palco over the middle, and that looks like a first down for St. Ignatius.
Nice little dagger concept here on the boundary. Have Carruthers clear out the slot, You got Palco in underneath to make that catch.
Great job again. Gracia not having to throw the ball downfield a ton, but very accurate and very on time. A really, really impressive game from him at the quarterback position, especially considering the weather. Iggy's got a first down here. They're at the 33-yard line, and they're getting ready to continue moving that football. That's a Marino getting the snap back there, but he's getting bottled up. That Western Tech defense not letting him get through. So we're going to have 2nd and about 8 here for St. Ignatius.
Yeah, Western Tech's done a really great job of closing down that inside run. St. Ignatius hasn't had the same success with that as they had earlier in the football game. They're still having success to the edges, but Western Tech's really being stout in the middle.
Yeah, they've done a great job of running some counters and some mixed directions as well, and I'm wondering if that's maybe something they'll dig into here. They're looking at 2nd and 9 to try to get this first down and maybe put this game officially to bed. 3 backs in again. Western Tech up nice and tight, ready to meet their match here, ready to match them. Gracia gets back, throws. He's got, that's
Palco again.
That's Palco again on the first down reception. Man, and these receivers, when they get an opportunity, they do not miss. Great job from St. Ignatius. And again, just a nice timing route. Everything functioning, matching up nicely. Very good job from St. Ignatius.
Yeah, you can really see as soon as Gracia's back foot hits the ground, he's delivering that football on time, on target, in spite of the weather, in spite of the conditions. Really great catch by Palco.
All right, Western Tech getting ready to sell out to stop this run here. 1st and 10. St. Ignatius lead for Moreno. Not finding a lot of room. He's getting wrapped up. He's getting filled in the backfield there. Great job by Western Tech flying to the football.
Yeah, they're doing a great job now of shutting down that edge, really setting the edge defensively, not letting Ignatius get out on the edge, out to the outside. Doing a really good job of keeping those running backs into the pile where Western Tech has extra defenders, has that size advantage, not letting them get to the edge and forcing a 2nd and long.
Yeah, and Bennett Tesselin and Landon King doing a great job in there, really making it hard for those St. Ignatius guys to move them. So we've got a little bit of an injury timeout here. Number 36, Richard Dixon from Western Tech, just down needing a little bit of attention from the trainer. And we're looking at 2nd and 13 here for St. Ignatius with 6 minutes left to go in the 4th quarter. And so St. Ignatius has got to be thinking, if we can put some points on the board right now, we're walking out of here with a banner.
Yeah, a really big down coming up here. 2nd and long, close to the end zone. If they can pick up that first down or even get it in the end zone, I think it really puts this game away for Western Tech. They really need to find it in themselves, dig deep, make this stop, and try and get the ball back for their offense.
Yeah, I mean, the last 2 second downs, we've seen Aiden Palco catching an inside breaking route. And so he's out here on the wide receiver spot, and maybe that's a guy you're going to look at again. Him and Brandon Carruthers out here on the short side of the field. Both those guys have had some pretty impressive football games so far.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they look to hit Carruthers over the top. He's been their big deep play threat. They've thrown a couple of short ones to Palco. Look for Carruthers over the top.
All right. Gracia getting ready to take the snap. Here he comes, dropping back. Quick out route out to the top of the field. That's Carson Height. He's going. He's got the first down. It looks to be. It's very close. But again, a great timing route and out route from St. Ignatius. And that's going to be maybe 3rd and 1. Great job by Height getting that ball, making a move. James Gabriel not going to let him get more than that, though.
Yeah, that's a really tough throw to the wide side of the field by Gracia. So great job of throwing that long out route, giving his receiver space to make a move. Looks like they're just a little bit short, but I wouldn't be surprised if they go for it here.
Yeah, this is where you take Hayden Bach and Zach Moreno and see if you can put them where the football needs to go. We can get a first down here and finish this football game. Moreno takes the snap, takes the handoff. He's got it. That's a first down. St. Ignatius inside the 10-yard line down to about the 6.
Just a really great push by that Falcons offensive line. Getting low, getting underneath that Western Tech defensive line, getting off the football. You can see running right behind big number 65. That's Nicholas Damour getting that first down.
Yeah, the fellas up front for St. Ignatius have done a really great job of dealing with that big Western Tech front. All right, Grassy's. They've got a couple tight ends here. It looks like definitely a thick set here from St. Ignatius as they're looking to punch this ball into the end zone. Marino takes it. He's going out wide. He makes a cut. He runs in. He tries to hurdle. He gets down to the 1. Doesn't quite get in. Just a nice try from Zach Moreno, but unfortunately he can't get in the end zone.
Yeah, another outstanding tackle by James Gabriel. Gabriel leaped over a defender. Now Marino's trying to do the same, and Gabriel says, not today. Getting up, making that tackle. What a hit by Gabriel, keeping him out of the end zone.
Man, he has been a player for Western Tech today. St. Ignatius here, 2nd and goal on the 1-yard line. Got to imagine we're going to see something inside run here. Moreno taking the handoff. He runs. He can't be stopped. That's Zach Moreno with another touchdown on the day for St. Ignatius. And that's going to make that score 31-0 before the extra points.
Yeah, you know, like we talked about, it's tough to keep that goal line stand on the 1-yard line in Canadian football. The defense has to give a yard on that line of scrimmage, so the offense really has the advantage when it's short yardage like that, and you can see the Falcons made them pay.
Yeah, the Falcons have done a great job of just forcing the issue up front and being physical, and it's been impressive to see them when they are outmanned and outsized a little bit on the front.
Yeah, I think the offensive linemen, when they get those big pancake blocks, getting the defenders down on the ground. So they got that Hoyto Pancake House in Thunder Bay. They were stopping by before they came down to Southern Ontario, and they're showing their wares today.
Oh, we got a poor snap here. Prushka's taking the ball. He's going to try to run. He's kind of just goes out of bounds. Definitely not a planned fake there. Just making sure nothing bad happens there. Smart play by Mateo Prushka.
Yeah, you can see Prushka ended up with that football, and I think he was as surprised as anybody, and just doing a good job of not turning that ball over, not taking a big hit, get out of bounds, especially with a 31-point lead, and we don't need to take any extra punishment as a kicker.
Yeah, kicker's definitely not expecting to get that ball, that's for sure. And so not always sure what to do with it when they get it. But yeah, St. Ignatius looking great here. They're rolling. They're up 31-0. Western Tech's going to be hoping to put something together here on offense. Got to imagine Prushka's done everything from kicking that ball long, kicking that ball short, trying to run it. So we'll see what they're able to do. I would imagine St. Ignatius is going to kick that ball deep and try to take care of the field position.
Yeah, I think Prushka's going to like this ball on the tee a lot better than in his hands.
All right, so we're at 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter here of the Northern Bowl. It's been some northern weather today with some rain and some cold, but St. Ignatius really, after having we had a pretty turnover-filled first half. We haven't really had that much in the second. So teams have done a great job of adjusting to the weather and taking care of the football.
Yeah, they've really been able to show how they've been able to play as athletes, taking care of that football, not having those same turnovers.
Prushka kicks it on the ground. Looks like Samuel on the return. Oh, he picks it up with his knee down. Unfortunate, but at least Western Tech has possession at the 25-yard line, and that's not a bad starting position for them.
Yeah, just another really tough kick to handle, bouncing around on the ground. Samuel does a good job to pick it up, but with the knee on the ground, that'll end the return right there.
And with this weather, you can't really tell if the ball's going to squirt or the ball's going to stop, and so you're a little bit like a shortstop out there trying to catch the ball, and that's not for everybody. So
yeah, he really had. Yeah, sorry, Kevin. He really had to use his whole body there to make sure it wasn't getting past him, or even worse, if it touched off his leg, and then you're giving Ignatius a chance to jump on that football and retain possession.
All right, so we've got Western Tech here, 3:59 left to go in the fourth. Out here on offense, Nadal Founder's got his guys set up. He's got 3 receivers into the boundary, 2 out to the wide side here, and he might have a bit of a speed advantage out here with James Gabriel. We'll see if he tries to go that way. Takes the snap, gets that ball out, looking good to Jamal Samuel, just can't quite haul it in, but good try, good pass from Western Tech.
Yeah, I feel bad for Samuel. He's had a tough day receiving the football. Again, we talked about the elements in his hands, one that his quarterback would love for him to come down with. I'm sure he'd love to come down with that football, but just a tough one right through his hands. Good pass by Alfounder, though, to find him in space.
All right, so we're at 2nd and 10 here for Western Tech, and we're going to be looking to punch a first down. It looks like they've got Caden Bonk in on offense, so maybe looking at a bit of a different look and trying to see if they can get something going here. Incomplete pass from Nate Alfounder there, and that's tough one in the traffic, just trying to come down with it, just trying to get James Gabriel and Jamal Samuel to make a play.
Yeah, Jamal Samuel again finding that soft spot in the defense. Alfounder delivers that football, but just right through his hands. Again, it looks like the gloves have come off. We're just trying to do anything we can to get some tact, to get some dryness on that football and be able to pull it in.
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately, with 3 minutes left and there being 31 points down, you've really got to throw this football, and this is not throwing the football weather.
Yeah, it looks like Western Tech's going to line up to punt here. See if they have any trickery lined up their sleeves, but I have a feeling they're just going to kick the ball away and give it to their defense and give them a bit of a breather from inside their own 25-yard line.
Yeah, so Western Tech's in tight. Going to try to kick that ball. They're going to give up the safety, so they're going to lose quite a few yards here, give up that 2-point safety, but try to get St. Ignatius down at the far end of the field. So again, Canadian football is a field position game, and with the rain and the way it is, Western Tech was going to have a hard time digging themselves out of that hole.
Yeah, just a really tough spot to be in as an offense, and if you're going to punt that ball away, you're giving St. Ignatius great field position, and they've really been unstoppable so far on offense, especially this second half. So don't blame the coach there making that decision, making them go the long distance on the field.
Yeah, so we're inside the 3-minute warning here, and St. Ignatius is going to be looking to just turn these chains over a couple of times and get out of here and start that bus ride home. So Falcons have looked very good today. I think they should be pretty happy, and they've made their whole association and city pretty proud of the way they've played today.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with the Falcons, the way that they've been able to move the ball on offense. Moreno's been running hard all day long. Carruthers with some big catches. Palco with some big catches. Really impressed with this Falcons offense. But equally as impressive has been their defense. I mean, you pitch a shutout here at Ofsaa football against the best teams in the province. You're doing something really right.
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately, we haven't seen Nolan Poirier again, but he's been such a big part of their team today. And, but they've had lots of guys that have contributed. And so it's nice to see not just a one-person attack, but multiple people that are able to make a dent here.
Yeah, really getting contributions up and down the roster, both sides of the football. I want to give a big shout-out to those offensive linemen up front. Really made the difference, like we talked about in the opening. Western Tech has that size advantage, but those offensive linemen from St. Ignatius, whether they're getting out on pulls, whether they're using their athleticism, really making a difference, giving Gracia lots of time to throw the football, and have really been difference makers, unsung heroes, as it were.
Yeah, and you can see the rain coming down there against those St. Ignatius jerseys. It is as gross as it looks out there, and so these kids have played their hearts out in what is probably the worst weather they've played in all season. So congratulations to both teams for putting up a great effort and putting on a great show today. We're 33-0 St. Ignatius over Western Tech, just over 2 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. A little bit of motion there from St. Ignatius, running what looks like a power run. Moreno just can't find any space. That looked like a great stop. That looked like Levi Augustine's made a couple plays here. Great job holding that edge. Tyler Richards in there as well. Cooper Savicki, of course. Nice job with the Western Tech into the football.
Yeah, it looks like St. Ignatius is able to get some of their players in. So Rodrigo Cassia, a grade 12 running back, getting a couple of carries here in the end of this football game, really getting a chance to play. When you come down this far, you want to be able to get in that football game if you can, and great job by the coach of using everybody on that bench.
Here we go. We got the handoff here. Looks like Cassia taking that handoff, getting about 8. Maybe 7, but unfortunately not going to be enough to get that first down. So the St. Ignatius Falcons are going to have a decision here. They're about 2 yards shy. Are they going to want to kick this ball, or are they going to try to get that first down?
Yeah, not really sure. You saw that on that replay. Great block by number 97. Said his name a bunch of times. Avon Anderson in 65. Demore is guarding a tackle, really opening up that hole for the running back, and a tough conversion on second and long when you're running the football, but these guys have been opening holes all day long.
Yeah, we'll see if St. Ignatius here is looking to punch this ball over the line. It's third and 2 here. We got some motion. Carson Height didn't get that ball, but Rodrigo Cassia did, and he gets over the line and gets that first down. Great job by Ignatius taking advantage of that Western Tech defense.
Yeah, you're going to see on this replay what an awesome job by the center, number 52, Ethan Mann, get one-on-one block with big Cooper Zavicki and just driving him backwards, getting his running back that first down. An awesome block up front by that center. He's been working hard all day. We talked about really hard to snap that football in these conditions. So what a great block and a great finish by that running back Cassia.
All right, so we're down inside just about a minute here to go in the fourth quarter, and St. Ignatius, I think, is going to try to kneel this one out if they can. So great job by the Falcons today. They're going to get into the every coach's favorite formation, the victory formation, and get ready to finish this football game off. Fantastic job by both teams in this harsh, gross, kind of ugly weather.
Yeah, again, hats off to Western Tech. They played hard all game long. Some really great playmakers on both sides of the ball for them as well, and unfortunately just couldn't stand up to this Ignatius attack. Did a great job all game of moving that football, hanging on to it in the second half in these conditions. But Western Tech should be really proud of the season that they put together and the showing that they've had here today. Yeah, both teams, I mean, like kind of unexpected city champions from both of them, and so when you get to win your city, maybe in a little bit of an upset, Ofsaa's a bit of an icing on the cake, and so I'm glad these guys have had their cake and eaten it too today. Great job from St. Ignatius and great showing from Western Tech, and just a fantastic Northern Bowl here from everybody. Yeah, great sportsmanship on both sides of the football. It's what you love to see. It's a battle. It's a physical game, but at the end of the day, that respect for both sides, and great to see those guys shaking hands. Congratulations to St. Ignatius, Northern Bowl champions. Yeah, it's nice when you got a 16-hour bus ride to have a banner to hang on it to make sure that makes that ride a little bit more fun on the way home. Yeah, it's going to be a real happy 16 hours back up north. Yeah, and I think a few of these guys really showed out. Like obviously Zach Moreno with his runs, and we mentioned Nolan Poirier a ton. But again, I was really impressed with the play of Nick Gracia, the quarterback, just able to get that ball out on time and very accurately and exactly where it needed to be. And so just a very well-coached, slick operation from St. Ignatius. Yeah, I think their coach did a really good job of adapting his game plan. I think they wanted to get Brandon Carruthers the ball a little bit more, but in these conditions, he really did a great job of changing their attack, bringing more guys into the box, really making it a power running game, throwing when he had the opportunity, but I think adapted well to the conditions. All right, so the teams are just about to line up on the 50-yard lines, and St. Ignatius will be getting the Northern Championship banner presented by Riddell Football, and not only is Riddell one of our big sponsors, but again, NFL Canada, a big partner in getting this whole event together, and so they've just been great about handing out things to players and handing out grab bags and swag and putting up some events for our fans, and so it's been lots of fun to partner with such an awesome organization. Yeah, just a really great event here at Ofsaa Football, and hats off to the fans that came in this weather. I know some of the parents and the girlfriends and aunts and uncles and grandmas and grandpas braving this crummy weather to watch their teams compete. So hats off to the fans that are here. Again, we talked about all the university coaches and college coaches that are here doing some scouting. A great opportunity for these athletes to show out in front of these fans. And in front of these scouts, and again, for a team coming down from Thunder Bay that may not get that exposure, great for them to have that opportunity in front of all these players. All right, well, I think that's all from us. So thanks again for watching, and enjoy watching the banner presentation for the Northern Bowl.
Congratulations once again, Falcons. Fans, we hope you've enjoyed your time here at Alumni Stadium for today's Northern Bowl presented by Riddell. Please feel free to stick around as our Southern Bowl will be held in approximately